Tonight we leave behind the sterile comfort of modern life. No buzzing lights, no metal doors, no Google. Just damp stone walls, smoke-choked hearths, and the haunting toll of a distant chapel bell. This is not the Middle Ages you've seen in fairy tales, no knights in shining armor rescuing damsels in distress. Tonight you are not the hero, you are a woman. And this world was not built for you. This is a journey through the unspoken, the unseen, and the forgotten corners of medieval life. We'll walk beside the peasant girl who births her child in a cow stall, the noblewoman bartered like land, and the midwife who risks being burned as a witch for knowing too much. This is not a story of how women ruled, it's a story of how they endured. And that, perhaps, is the more impressive tale. So settle your head gently upon your pillow. Let the cold wind rattle the shutters of your imagination. And come quietly with me, through the centuries, into the life of a medieval woman. Before you can survive the Middle Ages, you must be born. And birth, in this time, is a dangerous affair. Midwives gather by candlelight, their hands coarse from ash and wool, their tools no more than linen rags, herbal salves, and whispered prayers. There is no sterilization, no anesthesia, just a rush of blood, pain, and hope. If you're a girl, your arrival is less celebrated. A son brings strength and labor. A daughter brings future dowries and worry. May she be modest, they say, may she marry well. In noble houses, a wet nurse takes you, and your mother resumes political duties. In the fields of a peasant cottage, you're swaddled and tied to a cradle board, while your mother churns butter and tends sheep. Death stalks you early. Fevers, bad milk, foul water. You may not live past 5, but if you do, you begin to learn your place. A girl's childhood ends early. If you're born to peasants, your days are spent beside your mother, hauling water from the well, gathering firewood, husking grain, plucking fleas from the straw mattress. There are few toys, a rag doll, a carved spoon. Play is a luxury. Life is practical, and every moment is training for survival. If you're noble, you learn to curtsy before you learn to read. Tutors teach you etiquette, languages, and embroidery, not philosophy or law. You may be fluent in Latin prayers, but never allowed to write your own name on parchment. Men decide, you obey. Speak softly, smile when watched. Hide your laughter. A girl who laughs too loud may be thought impure, but you notice things. You learn to read faces. You begin to hear the whispers of women in kitchens about love, childbirth, secrets, and saints. This is your real education, survival through listening. Your first menstruation is met not with celebration but concern. Now you are marriageable. And dangerous, your body carries power, it can create life. But it is also considered unruly, carnal, and sinful. Your family discusses dowries, land, livestock, linens. You are not part of the conversation. Your future may be a man you've never met. A widower, a boy, a cousin. A brute, the church says marriage is sacred, but often it is economic warfare. Daughters are exchanged for peace between villages, alliances between kings. Consent is not required. A father's word is law. Some girls are married by 12. Others are sent to nunneries, their virginity considered a divine gift. Your body is now a contract, a vessel, a symbol. Not yet a woman, but no longer a child. And the eyes that once looked past you now linger too long. Marriage is not a fairy tale. It is duty. You leave your home and everything familiar. You cross a threshold and become a wife. For a noble woman, this may mean silks and servants, but it also means bearing heirs and pleasing a man with whom you may share no language, no tenderness, no warmth. For a peasant woman, it means more work. 2 farms to tend now. A husband who expects obedience and access. And yet, strangely, a kind of freedom. You now have a domain of your own, however humble. You may be beaten. The law allows it. A rod no thicker than a thumb. And if your husband dies, your fate may rest with his brother. But marriage also offers subtle power. You manage the household. You whisper into your husband's ear. You raise the next generation. You know every birthmark, every lie, every injury and illness in the home. And when war calls your husband away, it is you who keeps the fires burning. Now you are a mother. If you survive childbirth, there's no pain relief, no trained doctor. Just the midwife, the cross, and a knife to cut the cord. If your labor is slow, they tie relics of saints to your legs. If it is deadly, you confess between screams, just in case. The church tells you Eve's curse is pain in childbirth. You accept it. You endure it. Your baby is baptized within hours. If it dies before baptism, its soul is lost. So the priest rushes to the cradle. Or you do it yourself with holy water, just in case. Many children die. You name them all, you love them all. But grief becomes a familiar ache. You are expected to move on. The cows need milking. Some women breastfeed others' children. Some women have 15 children and see only 4 grow old. But still you rock, sing, wrap their feet in wool, and whisper blessings in the night. You work from sun to moon. You mend, bake, spin, knead, clean, feed, scrub, even pregnant, even bleeding, even grieving. In towns you sell eggs, ale, wool. In noble courts you plan feasts and keep accounts. Your labor is invisible but essential. The history books forget you, but the village does not. You are a midwife, a cook, a brewer, a weaver, a healer. You know which herbs to boil for a cold, which chant to murmur over a wound. This is knowledge passed from mother to daughter, and if your husband dies suddenly, you matter more. You can inherit, speak in court, own land. Widowhood is the only status that grants some legal freedom, but it comes with grief. And danger, a woman alone is always watched, some escape. To the church, to cloisters behind stone walls and iron gates. In the convent you may read, you may write. You may study theology, astronomy, even medicine. Abbesses rule with quiet power. Here your soul matters more than your womb, but it is no paradise. Cold cells, long prayers, silence, hunger. Some girls are sent here without consent to rid families of a burden, yet here women preserve knowledge. Illuminate manuscripts, compose hymns. Hildegard of Bingen hears visions and writes volumes. Julian of Norwich dreams of a God with a mother's tenderness. Faith offers a life of the mind, but you must never stray. The fire that warms you can also consume you. A woman who knows too much is dangerous. If you heal with herbs, they call you wise until they call you witch. If you speak in church, they say you're holy until they say you're possessed. Midwives and herbalists walk a narrow line. They know which root eases labor, which mushroom kills pain, which tea ends a pregnancy, and that knowledge threatens men. Superstition runs deep, a failed crop, a fever, a miscarriage. Someone must be blamed, and often that someone is a woman. You may be tried, tortured, burned, drowned, but you are not alone. Your sisters pass knowledge in whispers and lullabies in the folds of skirts and the lining of sleeves. You survive in shadow? Let us pause to remember those who defied the script. Christine de Pizan pens books defending women's intellect. Marjorie Kemp records mystical visions, weeping her way across Europe. Eleanor of Aquitaine rides to war in armor. Joan of Arc commands armies and is burned at 19. These were not ordinary women, but they stood for many. For every famous name there were thousands more, healers, mothers, rebels, saints. Women who left no name but shaped the world. So how did she survive? She knew when to speak and when to stay silent. She watched, she remembered, she endured. She turned labor into art, bread into life, scraps into quilts, suffering into lullabies. She built homes from timber and patience. She held her tongue in court but told stories by firelight. She stitched secrets into seams. She taught daughters how to knead, mend, endure. She found freedom in faith and songs in the soft moments between danger. And though the world tried to forget her, she survived anyway. Tonight, as you drift into rest, you are wrapped in centuries of survival. You are not alone. 1,000 generations of women sleep beside you. Peasant girls and queens, sisters and strangers, mothers and martyrs. They whisper in the dark, their lullabies linger. Their hands built the world we stand on. Sleep now. You are held in their memory, and morning, when it comes, will carry their strength.